Now, I'm not one to gossip, but I will bring you the tea. Welcome to Chronicle Speaks.
Please, I don't have any time for any gossip now. Eh? Yes.
Look at you.
The prosecution has officially issued a superseding indictment against Mr. Sean P. Diddy Combs. Now, while this indictment does not have any new charges, there are new allegations added to the current charges, as well as 2 new female victims. Now, while Cassie burst through the door with guns blazing in her 2023 lawsuit against Diddy, there are 2 other female victims that share the same sentiments as Cassie, claiming that Diddy dictated their appearance, tracked their whereabouts, threatened to withhold financial support, promised them a career, among other things. Diddy is also being accused of distributing meth and hallucinogens. Now, they're extending the timeline of this superseding indictment, stating that the alleged racketeering conspiracy started in 2004 instead of 2008, detailing a criminal operation involving kidnapping, bribery, arson, and other crimes. Now, Diddy's team is still fighting tooth and nail to make sure that he is not convicted of these charges, but right now things are not looking good. We're going to get into this story and so much more, but before we do, please be sure to subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any news regarding this story and so much more. Now let's get back into it. Now, we've always known victim 1 to be Miss Cassie Ventura, but in prior court filings, both prosecutors and Combs' legal team have mentioned potential additional victims. Now, in one instance, prosecutors referenced a text from a woman referred to as victim number 2, who claimed Combs threatened her over a sex tape, and she said she was drugged during the encounter. Now, according to the government, Diddy pays a significant monthly sum to this individual, and they feel as if Diddy was leveraging a significant financial benefit to victim number 2 to have her adapt to his narrative. However, Diddy's team said she is not a victim. They've spoken to her, and she claims that she did not speak to the prosecution. We have not only victim 1, we now have victim 2, and we have victim number 3. 3 females claiming sex trafficking, violence, kidnapping, drug trafficking, and other charges. Now, although Diddy's team only felt there was 1 victim in the situation and they pretty much had it in the bag, the prosecution hit him with a surprise, surprise. Surprise, surprise. Now, the government submitted a letter to Judge Arun Subramanian along with this new superseding indictment. Now, with this S1 indictment, the government is saying that they're not adding new additional criminal charges, but they do want to provide new details about the existing ones. Now, Diddy currently has 3 charges, including racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. Now, this new superseding indictment expands on the racketeering conspiracy charge by adding more facts, expanding the timeline of the alleged crime from 2004 to 2024. So before they were thinking Diddy was involved in these crimes for 16 years, now they're saying it's 20. Now, we also see additional allegations related to the means and methods of the racketeering enterprise related to sex trafficking, including the trafficking of 3 specified female victims, victim 1, 2, and 3, and certain acts of violence. Also, additional racketeering activity, additional narcotics and controlled substances, one of those drugs being psilocin, which is a chemical compound that is found in mushrooms. And they also said Diddy had them Breaking Bad giving them meth.
I can do it. I can do anything.
So Combs and other members and associates of the Combs enterprise wielded the power and prestige of Combs' role at the Combs business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Combs' orbit, often under the pretense of a romantic relationship. Combs then used force, threat of force, and coercion to cause victims, including but not limited to 3 female victims, victim 1, victim 2, and victim 3, to engage in commercial sex acts. So although we do not know who these other victims are, we do know their stories are a lot like Cassie. He promised them careers, he paid different bills, he paid their rent, he did different things to keep them around, but he also had them engaging in sex acts with sex workers and would record it to make sure that they did not get out of line. Combs subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse to cause the victims to engage in freak-offs and other commercial sex acts. Combs maintained control over his victims through, among other things, physical violence, promises of career and financial opportunities, granting and threatening to withhold financial support, and by other coercive means, including tracking their whereabouts, dictating the victim's appearance, monitoring their medical records, controlling their housing, and supplying them with controlled substances. During and separate from freak-offs and other commercial sex acts, Combs, among other things, hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims at times by their hair. These assaults often resulted in injuries that took days or weeks to heal. Following the assaults, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of the enterprise, frequently worked to conceal his misconduct by offering to provide medical assistance or other financial benefits to the victims. Combs also threatened victims' careers and livelihoods, including if they resisted engaging in sex acts with Combs and at times with Combs and male commercial sex workers. Victims believed they could not refuse Combs' demands without risking their financial or job security or without repercussion in the form of physical or emotional abuse. Combs also used the sensitive, embarrassing, and incriminating recordings that he made during freak-offs as collateral to ensure the continued obedience and silence of the victims. Now, we've all been made aware that Diddy always has a camera with him, whether he's going out of town, whether he's going to the bedroom. Diddy records everything. That's a common known fact. So with that being said, there's 10 sex videos that Cassie has recently given her attorneys, and her attorneys in turn has given it to the prosecution. Diddy's like, hold up, how in the world could I be incriminating her when she's the one with the videos, because I didn't even have these? These freak-off videos that Cassie has provided are being used against Diddy in court. Now, the only problem is Cassie and her attorneys did not want these videos getting out anywhere, so they had Diddy's attorneys agree to a protective order, pretty much stating, you're going to watch these in the presence of a law enforcement officer. You are not to have any copies. You're not to email any copies. These are to go nowhere. On 2 separate occasions, Diddy and his attorneys watched all of these videos, and they were watched while they watched them. Diddy was like, no, it's not as clear as I would like it to be, and I want to enhance the audio a little bit, so can we get some copies? No, sir.
You nasty.
The prosecution was like, look, why did you sign this protective order back in October stating that you were okay for it being attorney's eyes only and you were going to watch this in front of an officer and you were not to have any copies? Why are we changing now all of a sudden now that you've seen it? So after Diddy's attorneys requested to amend the protective order, allowing them to view the videos on their own, have their own copies, Judge Arun Subramanian said no. He dismissed it without prejudice, meaning they can come back and try to argue it some, but as of right now, it's a no for me, dog. He says that the defense can propose new options for the government, but as of right now, y'all are looking too shady. We already know if you get these videos, somehow they're going to end up on the World Wide Web, and it's just not worth it. Diddy and his team have done everything in their power to try to discredit Cassie, even saying the 2016 hotel video were 2 lovers having a quarrel. Cassie nor her team want to risk the possible embarrassment of her being exposed on the internet in a possible drug-induced sex trafficking ordeal with her abuser. They've done everything possible to try to discredit her, but guess what? 2 more victims are now on the list. What I need to do is hear from you. What do you think about everything going on in the strange, corrupt, convoluted world of Diddy? Leave a comment and you know how we do. We'll talk about it down below. Talk to you guys later. Bye. As always, thanks for watching. But before you go, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any of my new episodes.